So a few comments of sorts before we begin my homily today. First of all, it's always a great joy to come into church and see all of this beauty that we have among us. I love Christmas decorations, so this is awesome. And I always get excited. I always forget that we have an elephant, a camel, and a horse in our nativity scene here. This is like a homily from like 2 years ago, but it still is just like, it's so awesome. I don't even have one of those in my house, which is crazy. But anyways, so this is awesome. Number 2, Sister Lily among Thorns is with us. Sister, so good to have you back. Very nice to see you. We also have a newly baptized Catholic who just was baptized last night at evening mass. She's totally embarrassed. But Erica she's been coming to daily mass for years now, and she gets to receive Holy Communion for a second time in her whole entire life today. So this is just so, like, what a bet. Like, who needs Christmas when we have all this right now? Okay, so I do, also, we're going to pray the Patriotic Rosary after Mass today. We'll expose the Blessed Sacrament. So we will play the Patriotic Rosary if you'd like to pray after Mass today. And then reminder, tomorrow morning's Mass is at 7:30 a.m. at St. Joseph. Because of Advent Adoration, we're shifting from the 5:45 Mass, so we don't have to interrupt Advent Adoration. So we're going to shift to, it'll be at 7:30. The bulletin says 8. That was a typo. So 7:30 a.m. tomorrow, St. Joseph campus in St. Leon. And then Advent Adoration will begin at all of our campuses at like 10 or 10:15, depending on what campus you're at, because of Deacon Bob and I having to get around to all of the places. But Advent Adoration will be from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. from the 23rd to the 24th. Just read the bulletin, and hopefully it's right. Okay, although you probably all know that by now because it's been the same thing for like 7 years. Okay, so today I want to preach specifically on the O Antiphons. For those of you who have read like the little devotion, or you can go to our website, and the O Antiphons are just so absolutely beautiful and powerful. And the song O Come, Emmanuel, I literally sing the song all year round. Like, I'll be driving in my car in the middle of July singing O Come, Emmanuel. I don't know why, but it's just like, it is powerfully for me just this song that like just helps me enter into relationship deeply with God. So the O Antiphons, this is a quick, brief reminder. The O Antiphons have to do with our gospel passage today, which is why I'm preaching on them today. Our gospel passage today is Mary's song, sometimes referred to, or the Magnificat, which is the first word within Mary's song, meaning my soul proclaims or magnifies, Magnificat. My soul magnifies or praises or proclaims the greatness or the goodness of the Lord. So this is Luke chapter 1, verse 46. So I preached a little bit this weekend on the Benedictines. And so St. Benedict really is the one who began monastic prayer. And so evening prayer that is prayed by religious sisters, by priests, deacons, and bishops out of obligation, can be prayed for, of course, by the whole world. Vespers or evening prayer always includes Mary's song, the Magnificat. The morning actually has the words of Zechariah. It's known as the Benedictus. It is the praises of Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist, when his tongue is loosened after 6 months of him being mute, and Elizabeth being very happy that her husband was probably mute for 6 months. He opens his mouth for the first time after he names his child John. Well, actually, Elizabeth named him John. Zechariah confirms the name, and then his tongue is loosened. So the Benedictus is chanted or said every single morning, and Mary's song, the Magnificat, is said or chanted every single evening. So the O Antiphons are the tiny little verse that is put right before and right after you recite this text every single evening. So I always refer to it as the novena to Christmas because they start on the 17th. But we just need to be very honest. There aren't 9 of them. But if you do the math, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. They start 9 days before Christmas. So I always look at it because, as you all know, I love novenas very, very much so. So every one of them just begins with the word O, which is why they're called the O Antiphons, which is where we get the song, O come, Emmanuel. In the liturgy, in the Mass, during those last days of Advent, they are the Alleluia verse. So today we heard, O King of all nations and keystone of the church. Yesterday we heard, O Emmanuel. The day before that we heard, O Key of David. So I just want to real quick just go through what the O Antiphons are. So now we kind of know what they are a little bit. So let's just quickly just go through the titles. Because what they are is they're really their Old Testament prophecies of the Christ. So how was God made manifest in the Old Testament before him coming among us in the flesh? And how did he prepare the way for his ultimate coming, his greatest coming, which of course was through the womb of the Blessed Virgin Mary? So the first is O wisdom. So we actually refer to part of our biblical text as wisdom literature, that God comes to us as wisdom. So the first is O wisdom. The second is O leader of the house of Israel. So who gave the law on Mount Sinai. So we see God as wisdom, meaning we see God as truth. This is something that's very unknown in our world today, but we believe that there is truth, that truth doesn't change. So, O wisdom. So then we talk about O leader, that we see our God as one who leads. We don't see a lot of this in our world today maybe either. These are two great things we should be praying for. We need more wisdom, we need more leadership. Then the third one roots Jesus in history. O root, or sometimes O stump, or O tree. The translations will sometimes be different, but O root or stump or tree of Jesse. So for those of you who ever do the devotion of the Jesse tree, or you've heard of the Jesse tree, this is where you look at Jesus as literally the fact that Jesus actually has ancestral heritage. Like Jesus is part of the human family, and we can literally root him to Adam, to Abraham, to Noah, that he is a part of the family of God, and that ultimately Jesse, who was the father of David, and David was the greatest king, and so Jesus is going to come as king. So, O wisdom, O leader, O root, O key of David, meaning ultimately, and it's really the same image that we have here of Jesus giving keys to Peter, and why Peter always holds keys. What do keys signify? Power and authority. The ability to lock and unlock. And just as Christ gave that power and authority to Peter, it was first given to him. So Jesus is the key of David. Today's verse actually is, O King of the nations, Rex. That Jesus is the King, that he is the Messiah, that he is the one who will sit on the throne. And then the last of the antiphons is actually the one that we actually have as the first verse of the song. But in their technical order, the last one, which would be tomorrow, is O Emmanuel. God among us, God dwelling in our midst, God who we know doesn't abandon us, but God who is ever with us and ultimately dwells within us through his Holy Spirit, but also through his body and his blood. So once again, O wisdom, O leader, O root or stump, O key. Oh, I've skipped one, I apologize. I skipped the 21st. Radiant dawn. By the way, did any of you go out and try to see the star last night? All I saw was clouds. I tried really hard, but all I saw was clouds. And I tried to part the clouds, but it didn't happen. So I was thinking, like, maybe if Jesus was baptized, this would help things out right now. But anyways, so 21st is radiant dawn. So radiant dawn is supposed to be, like, think of the most beautiful, like, sunrise you could ever think of. And that's radiant dawn, right? In fact, our tying into celebrating Mass ad Orientem could be tied into the radiant dawn facing the rising sun. And then the 22nd is King of the Nations. The 23rd is Emmanuel. And then what I do on the 24th and the 25th, because we like I've been saying O since the 17th, you then just start singing O Come Let Us Adore Him on the 24th and on the 25th, because out of all of my Christmas songs, it's my favorite Christmas song, is to just constantly sing Venite Adoremus. So the O Antiphons are great ways for us to delve deep into Old Testament prophecies and Old Testament prefigurations that we have of the Messiah. And as we enter into tomorrow, 24 hours of adoration, a great thing to do. There's a seminarian, and I couldn't ever figure out like what he was doing, but he would always, when I was in seminary, he would always have his hymnal open. And so I asked him one time, like, what are you doing? He says, I'm just like singing in my head to Jesus. So like sometimes, it's a great thing to do. I mean, you can like sing out loud to Jesus as well, but if there's other people, it's not always appropriate to do that, and particularly if you have a very terrible voice. But it can be a great thing, like for Advent adoration, just to like bring your missalette, bring your hymnal, and just sing those songs. If you're here by yourself, you can sing out loud. But to go through, I think lyrical verses in a lot of our hymns are powerful. There's a lot of truth in them, and a lot of good theology in them. Sometimes there's bad theology, but normally it's truth, and it's good. So let's allow these O Antiphons to root us deeper in the truths and the mysteries of Christ who is coming among us. Let us stand.